All right, ARCA at USA. So my settings, I'm gonna go 14 to 1 here. Maybe I will switch to 12 eventually, but it feels fine to me. Steering offset, I'm at 0. Brake bias, I put it all the way down to 50, and I tried it, and it was drivable, but I didn't think I needed it, so I put it back up to 60, and it felt a little better. Maybe in the race, when you need as much rotation as possible, you can give yourself the option of putting the brake bias even lower, but I think for the hot lap, somewhere around this 60 is going to be just fine. Gonna be a second lap hot lap most likely. These tires don't really come up to temp in time for a first lap hot lap. Doesn't say we're not going to try though. Do a really wide setup, turn down the track, get a really big run off the corner. Then we're gonna go brake, get all the way down to the yellow, roll on it, let the car point back down, and then get back on the gas. Just a little less grip on this lap than there usually is. Still a good corner for all intents and purposes, but we're gonna go for a second. Down here, get the car to point. We'll go for a third lap here. Just barely didn't make it. But yeah, it's just like the big ovals. Letting this car point it back down the track is the most important thing. You can't force the throttle early. Push a little bit more. I guess that worked. I'm always astounded how overdriving this car doesn't get punished. So I'm gonna overdrive again. Huh. Yeah. I totally forget. I think there's another close to a tenth in this, but the bounds of how this car can improve by overdriving it is something that I cannot comprehend yet. Both of my videos I've done on this so far, I've driven a lap, thought it was great, and then when the actual race came around, realized I was underdriving it by like 0.2 of a second. Here it's probably only about 1/10 of a second, but yeah, if you're pushing for pure speed, drive harder than me, overdrive it compared to me, because I'm just not used to that yet. I can't bring myself to overdrive this car, even though it's sometimes just subjectively better. So, well, let's go over it. So again, pretty easy, just letting my car turn back down and full throttling. Good run up. Doesn't really matter what your run up is because you're chipping out anyways. Hold on. They oh, it's still chipping out. I thought it was chipping out 7,500 for a second, but no, it chips out at 8,000. So, getting on about 30% brake. That's gonna be my maximum. I don't want to go much more because then it'll start pointing me too much or disengaging my right rear and getting me loose. Don't want that. Just aiming my car just directly at the yellow line because I want to get there as early as possible because my goal is just to roll this. So I almost drive like straight down to the yellow, and then I use my wheel to lock myself into the yellow, all while I'm still on that trail brake. And it might slide me up a little bit, but I just wait for the car to point back down and then full throttle. If your car doesn't slide up, you still got to wait for the same little point. And ironically, the better that you enter, the harder it is to exit. But you're faster. If you enter better, you'll have a less of a window to react to your car turning back down. But you see, the moment I turn back down, I'm on the throttle, and basically I was able to bully my car off the corner. I even jumped it a little bit, like just barely. You're really not supposed to in this car. You really should be waiting till your car points back down, but I jumped it just the tiniest bit, and I was able to force it where I wanted to go with a little bit more wheel than I would have otherwise wanted to. But this is the new ARCA car that doesn't get punished. Same thing with 3 and 4. It looks like I maxed out a little bit more there, but 30-40% brake. And then as I start turning the wheel, trail brake, and then letting my car slide up a little bit. And then the moment it turns back down, I go full throttle, unload the wheel, kind of bully the car off the corner. So yeah, not as much finesse as there used to be at these tracks. You can still definitely spin out if you have too much wheel and throttle inputted at the same time. But in terms of the racing line, the long run line, I don't think that line's going to be the best. It might be. I've been surprised. Maybe it's not that bad. But the traditional best racing line is just going to be rolling around the bottom and not letting the car slide up at all. Less brake, just keep the car down. And again, still wait for the car to turn back down. There's that second groove that's built into this track. Probably shouldn't be too bad. In fact, full tires, I'm still having that moment there. Earlier braking, getting down to the yellow, rolling the yellow, patient on the throttle. And that wasn't slow. It was not slow at all. Rolling the brake. Don't let the car slide up too much. Throttle as the car comes back down. I mean, you see me getting a little loose, but it's just so much easier to save. The car's not really gone, it's just, it kind of doesn't want to spin unless you absolutely force it to. Let's see how that second line works. The car still wants to slide up, so I don't really know how I feel about that. I mean, that gets a run, don't get me wrong. You could definitely pass someone on the outside by like diving their outside like this and kind of getting back to their quarter panel, choking them off the exit, getting a bigger run. I can see that working. But maybe the best line is just this kind of enter, let it slide up, drive it back down. That felt slow. I mean, I could just overdrive. Let's overdrive. I mean, it's not bad. Let's overdrive. Okay, there's a limit. There's a limit. Let's roll. I've noticed one thing with this car. When you get on the gas too early, like let's do this. Let's get down here. I'm gonna jump the gas too early. I can just let go of the gas and get back into it, and it's usually fine. Just one pump of the gas usually can get you back. Overdrive. Get on the gas too early. Pump the gas, get it turned back down, and then it turns too good. Yeah. But yeah, so experiment with how you can overdrive this car. That's kind of the theme of this car these days. And you definitely can wear more right rear if you're sliding the right rear, but otherwise you should be pretty even on tires. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.